Okay, Cashstick Bowcraft here. What we're going to attempt to do today, over the next few days, is do a bow build along for a short bow. This particular bow will be 48 inches long from end to end. And what I did is I marked on here with some masking tape the measurements in case anybody is interested in knowing what they are. So the bow itself, the width of the bow is a ½ inch or 1.5 inches. The handle will be 1¼ inches. It's just going to be slightly tapered in at the handle, so you can grab it and shoot off the hand. The center of the bow, from the center to the end of the handle, will be 2 3/4 inches, which makes it a 3.5 inch long handle. And then from the end of the handle down to the faded part of the or the riser, I would guess this would be called, would be 2 inches. And then from that 2-inch mark, I measured out 6 inches for the parallel limbs, and then they taper down to a ½ inch tip. And then since they're parallel limbs, they're going to maintain the 1.5 inch clear or 1.5 inch thickness until you reach the end of that 6-inch measurement, and then taper down to a ½ inch. The handle itself, I measured it, came out to 13/16 inches thick. This is a Hickory board bow. Measured ½ inch from the fade and tapered that down to 3/8 of an inch at the tip. So I haven't cut it out obviously yet. I just marked it out for you guys and drew the guidelines on there, and I'm going to get ready to cut it now. Usually when I make a bow, I mark the back of the bow as well as the front of the bow, so when I'm cutting it I can make sure that I stay within the lines on the bow, so I don't go over the lines. So there you go. I'm going to take it to the bandsaw right now and cut it all out. So hopefully this will be a successful bow that we can enjoy together. Anyway, Cashstick Bows out. Okay, so I went and cut the thickness taper. I tried to stay above my guideline here, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to rasp the limb down to the lines and try to get the limbs as perfectly flat as I can. That's one limb that I've already begun to rasp. This is another limb that I just cut and I have not yet started rasping down. I tried to get as close to the line as I can, but I don't know if you could see it or not, but there is a slight hump on the limb that you have to rasp down to get it even and flat. So I usually cut the thickness taper first, get it all flat, and then I'm going to cut the limb taper, the tip tapers down once I get the limb completely flat. So I didn't videotape me cutting it because I didn't think that was very exciting to do. But anyway, I've got the thickness tapers cut, and I'm going to rasp down. So I'll pick up the video again when I'm done. Okay, once I think that I've rasped down the limbs to get them flat, they're not perfectly flat yet because I can still see a little hump in the middle here, but once I get it down as near as flat as I can get it by eye, I usually color the limbs with a pencil, and then I start rasping down the center until the pencil lines disappear from each side. Usually what I do, I'll rasp the edges until I touch the line on both sides, and then I'll rasp down the center of the bow to meet the lines flat. So That's my technique. I'm sure that everybody has their own way of doing it, but that's the way I do it because I just don't want to go over the lines and cause a problem later on. So that's how I do it. You can see that I've already rasped down the center. The pencil marks on each end have not yet disappeared, so that means I've got more to do on the center of the bow. You can see that there's a little ridge up here. It's not completely flat. And what I want to try to do is get that limb as flat as I can get it. Okay? So we'll check back in later. Okay, so you can see I got the limb pretty flat now. See down here that the lines are, I rasped down to the lines, and you can see that there's very little or no humps in the middle here as you look at it cross section. There's probably a little one right here. But now what I'm going to do, just to make sure it is completely flat, I'm going to color the limbs again with pencil, and then get my scraper and scrape along the top of the limb, and that way I can make sure that I got, you know, any high spots down flat to where they need to be. And then after I get through with that, I'm going to do the other limb. Probably took me I don't know, less than 45 minutes to get it from this roughed out cut state to this flat state right here. Okay, so I'm going to continue on. Okay, here back again. I colored the limbs with the pencil, and I took my scraper here. And the good thing about this is that when you scrape it, you can hold the thing flat on the bow, and you could pretty much tell where there's high spots down the middle. And by bringing this over, you can make sure that that limb gets perfectly flat. You could see that I've got pencil marks on this side and on this side. So with the rasp, I got it flat, but it wasn't flat enough. Okay, it's still a little bit crowned in the middle, and so I'm going to make just keep doing this until I catch those pencil marks and get those off the bow, and then I'll know that the bow is completely flat. Okay, so there you go. I'll put it back on when I get that done. Okay, I took the scraper to the limb, and I scraped off all the pencil marks so that the limb is flat. And you can see here where the scraper is on the wood that that limb is pretty flat. It's not exactly perfectly flat, but it's flat enough. It'll get more flatter as I tiller the bow, and you know, as I tiller it and scrape it, it'll get flatter as time goes on. But that's what you want. You want to have a flat bow, especially on a shorter bow. You want as much surface area as you can to absorb the strain of bending. So this limb is done. I'm going to begin this limb. You can see the difference here. You know, that's not flat. But anyway, I'm going to get started on that bow. I'll probably work on that limb tomorrow. Right now I got some arrows to build, so I'll just leave this bow as it is, and I'll pick it up again maybe tomorrow after work. Thanks.